The zero turn in your shed might be tougher than the company that built it. Cast iron spindles, steel you couldn't bend, still cutting grass today, while the name on the side has been dead for years. The mowers never failed. Somebody decided the badge was worth more than the iron under it. An engine company in bankruptcy, a drill conglomerate, a private equity fund. I pulled the SEC filings myself. 5 zero-turn legends that outlived their own makers. Number 5. Dixon. And this is the one that should scare you most, because Dixon didn't get cheapened. It got erased. In 1973, a small Kansas company bought the patent and tooling for a mechanical zero-turn drive at an auction and turned it into the machine that made the zero-turn affordable for the first time. By the late 90s, Dixon was pushing out over 15,000 mowers a year, and nearly half of them were commercial grade. The one you'll actually find in a garage today is the ZTR 3014, 36 or 42-inch deck, drove like a tank at a homeowner price. And here's the detail most people miss. Dixon's own model name, ZTR, is still the term the entire industry uses today for this style of mower. Then it got passed around like a poker chip. Blount bought it in 1990. Husqvarna bought it from Blount in 2006. And in 2014, Husqvarna sent out a press release that said, in their words, they wanted to reduce operational complexity. Translation: the brand that made zero turns something a regular guy could afford got filed under complexity and killed. By the end of that year, Dixon was gone. Not sold off, not rebadged. Discontinued. But at least Dixon got a clean death. The next one is still alive, wearing a name most people don't even realize belongs to a power tool company now. Number 4. Hustler. And here's a fact most owners don't know. This is the actual first zero-turn mower ever built. 1964. A Kansas farm equipment company called Excel Industries built the first twin-lever zero-turn out of spare parts and named it after an Air Force bomber. It sold for about $1,000, half the price of a car, and it became the machine every commercial mower on the market today is descended from. Today, pros know the name from the Super Z, Hustler's commercial flagship, still one of the fastest hydraulic drive machines you can buy off a dealer lot. In 2021, Excel Industries, the actual inventor of the zero-turn, got bought by Stanley Black & Decker. If that name sounds familiar, it should. That's the same company that now owns Craftsman and Cub Cadet. We already showed you what they did to those badges. In 2021, they bought their way into zero turns too, for close to $2 billion combined. The company that put out its first drill in the 1920s now owns the machine that invented mowing in a circle. On the pro forums, the reaction was immediate. Guys straight up said, nothing that company touches stays good for long. Hustler at least still builds in Kansas. The next one didn't even get bought outright. It just got quietly split into 2 different machines wearing the same name. Number 3. Gravely. This name goes back to the Model L, an all-gear walk-behind tractor built from 1936 to 1966 that owners still restore and run today, 60 and 70 years later. Arians bought Gravely back in 1982, and for the commercial line, the Pro Turn 400, they actually kept building rail machines. Heavy frames, rail transaxles, a price tag that starts around $7 grand. But walk into a big box lot and you'll find a Gravely ZT, a residential machine wearing the exact same legendary name. And Gravely's own marketing plays both sides of it. They'll tell you people mistake this homeowner mower for a commercial one, and in the same breath, they'll tell you the only thing that makes it residential is that it parks in your garage. That's not an accident. That's a company selling you the word commercial without selling you the machine. Same badge, same font, a transaxle built for a Saturday, not a Tuesday through Sunday route. Gravely at least still makes a real version somewhere on the lot. Number 2 didn't even get that choice. It got dragged through a defense contractor and the farm equipment company before landing where it is now. Before we get into that, if you're enjoying this far, please drop a like and hit subscribe for more videos like this one, and it genuinely helps us. Now, moving on. Number 2. Dixie Chopper, the self-proclaimed world's fastest lawnmower. And for once, that wasn't just marketing. Art Evans built the first one, the Magnum 5018, 50-inch deck, 18 horsepower, in an old dairy barn outside Coatesville, Indiana in 1980. And in 1991, to prove a point, he steam-bolted a 150 horsepower Chinook helicopter engine onto a Mower deck. It was real enough to land the company a spot on national TV in the early 90s. The Silver Eagle that followed became the brand's best-selling commercial machine ever. Today, the flagship still carries that same world's fastest DNA. It's called the Excalibur. By 2012, Dixie Chopper had overloaded its own dealer network. Over $1 million in back-ordered parts. Dealers furious. In 2014, Jacobson, a division of the aerospace and defense company Textron, bought what was left. 4 years later, Textron quietly told dealers they'd stopped building it. In 2019, Alamo Group, a farm equipment conglomerate, bought the name and moved production to an Illinois ag equipment plant. Think about that path. A family shop in Indiana, to a helicopter engine company, to a company that makes hay balers. The mower that used to have a jet engine bolted to it spent the last decade being traded between industries that have nothing to do with lawns. That's a rough ride. But number 1 didn't just get traded around. The people running it paid themselves millions of dollars the same year they filed for bankruptcy. Number 1. Ferris. If you've watched our last video, you already know what happened to Snapper on the homeowner side. Sold, gutted, licensed overseas. What we didn't tell you is what happened to its professional twin, wearing a different name. Ferris, out of Munnsville, New York, built the first hydrostatic walk-behind mower in 1987. In 1998, they invented something that's now on almost every serious commercial zero-turn on the market: independent suspension. Before Ferris, you rode a zero-turn. After Ferris, you floated over the bumps. The IS5000Z was the machine that proved it. The first diesel-powered Ferris, 4-wheel suspension, still talked about like a legend on the pro forums. Today's flagship, the ISX3300, is the one landscape crews are still buying by the fleet. Ferris got folded into Simplicity around 1999, and Simplicity got bought by Briggs & Stratton in 2004, the same engine company that eventually owned Snapper. Then in July 2020, Briggs & Stratton filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And just days before that filing, the board handed its top executives millions of dollars in what they called retention awards. The CEO alone got over $1 million. A private equity firm called KPS Capital Partners picked up the pieces for about $550 million. Ferris survived. It's still building suspension mowers in New York today. But Snapper Pro, the professional badge, didn't. Production for the US market ended in 2023. One brand invented the technology every commercial mower now copies. The other one got sold, bankrupted, and quietly shut down, while the people in charge cashed out first. That's not a company that lost its way. That's a company that got strip-mined on the way out. So forget the badge. Here's the map you actually need. 3 companies own most of this industry now. Toro owns Exmark and Spartan. And to be fair to them, Exmark under Toro has mostly been left alone and stayed commercial grade, so not every acquisition on this list is a horror story. Stanley Black & Decker owns Cub Cadet, Craftsman, and now Hustler. And Briggs & Stratton, now run by a private equity firm, owns Ferris, Simplicity, and what's left of Snapper. The badge tells you almost nothing anymore. The manufacturer tells you everything. So, if you're mowing a flat quarter acre on the weekends, a big box zero-turn is a fine tool. Just buy it as the disposable machine it is. Don't pay a premium for a name that used to mean something to a landscaper. If you're mowing real acreage, or you're doing this for a living, look at who still builds their own iron. Skag in Wisconsin still fabricates almost everything themselves. Grasshopper in Kansas has been family-owned since the 60s. Country Clipper in Iowa is still independent too. None of the three have been sold to a conglomerate. Yet. And if you already own one of the fallen names, Ferris, Gravely Proturn, Hustler's Commercial Line, they are still solid machines today. Just know who's cashing the check and budget accordingly if that owner changes again. Here's what I want you to walk away with. A zero-turn didn't get worse because engineers forgot how to build one. It got worse because somewhere up the chain, a company that's never smelled fresh-cut grass decided the badge was worth more than the machine. Dixon got killed for being complex. Ferris got strip-mined by executives who paid themselves on the way out. That's not decline, that's extraction. So before you buy, find out who actually owns the badge today. Find out if they still build their own steel. And remember, a legendary name with a new owner is not the same promise it used to be. It's just the same paint. One last thing before you spend a 5-figure check on a mower. Knowing which badges got hollowed out is only half the job. The other half is knowing which 3 are still worth every dollar. We already broke that down. Kubota versus Skag versus Exmark. The only 3 zero-turns actually worth keeping forever. If you want the machine and not the memory of the badge, that's the one to watch next.